The eviction notice mocked Olivia Mendez from her refrigerator door, its bold red letters announcing she had exactly 7 days before homelessness became her new reality. 3 months behind on rent, her nursing salary stretched beyond breaking, by her mother's mounting medical bills. And now this. She crumpled the paper in her fist, fighting back tears that wouldn't help anyway. Her phone buzzed with an unknown number. Normally, she'd ignore it. Bill collectors had become persistent lately, but desperation made her answer. "Ms. Mendez? This is Patricia Winters from Blackwood Industries HR department. Your application for the private care position has been accepted. Can you start tomorrow?" Olivia frowned. "I'm sorry, but I haven't applied for any position at Blackwood." A pause. "Your resume was submitted by Westlake Medical Center. Mr. Vincent Blackwood specifically requested you after reviewing your credentials." Westlake had been Olivia's previous employer before budget cuts eliminated her position 3 months ago. She hadn't authorized them to share her information, but the name Blackwood made her hesitate. Everyone knew Blackwood Industries, the tech giant that had revolutionized medical imaging software worth billions. The salary is $5,000 weekly, with accommodation provided if desired. The woman's voice remained professionally neutral, as though offering life-changing sums was routine. Olivia nearly dropped her phone. There must be some mistake." "No mistake, Ms. Mendez. Mr. Vincent Blackwood wishes to meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. to discuss caring for his brother Julian. Transportation will be arranged." The next morning found Olivia in the most expensive outfit she owned, a navy dress from a consignment shop, standing in the gleaming lobby of Blackwood Tower. A security guard escorted her to a private elevator that whisked her to the penthouse level. Vincent Blackwood wasn't what she expected. Younger than his 40 years, with calculating eyes that evaluated her with cold precision, he gestured for her to sit across from him in a minimalist office overlooking the city. "Thank you for coming, Ms. Mendez. I'll be direct. My brother Julian requires specialized care. He's currently in a coma following an accident at our research facility 6 weeks ago." "I'm sorry to hear that," Olivia said carefully. "But I specialize in geriatric care. Surely there are better qualified. Your qualifications are precisely what we need." Vincent interrupted, sliding a folder across the desk. "Julian requires discretion above all. The press believes he's taking a sabbatical. If word of his condition leaked, our stock would plummet." Olivia opened the folder. Inside were her complete employment records, performance reviews, even her current financial situation outlined in disturbing detail. "You've been investigating me." Vincent smiled thinly. "I'm offering you 5 times your previous salary to provide round-the-clock care for my brother. Naturally, I needed to ensure you were suitable." Something felt wrong. The salary, the secrecy, the way Vincent studied her like she was a specimen under glass. "Why me specifically?" "Your record shows exceptional care with minimal attachment. You maintain professional boundaries. You have no family obligations aside from your mother's care, which I'm prepared to assist with." He slid another document forward. "Blackwood Industries will cover all of your mother's medical expenses for the duration of your employment." Olivia felt her resistance crumbling. Her mother's medical bills paid, her eviction problem solved. It was everything she needed, presented by a man she instinctively distrusted. "May I see Julian before deciding?" Vincent's expression tightened momentarily before smoothing into practiced neutrality. "Of course." The private medical suite occupied the entire floor below the offices. State-of-the-art equipment surrounded a still figure in the center of the room. Julian Blackwood lay motionless, breathing steadily with assistance from a ventilator. Despite his condition, Olivia immediately noted the differences between the brothers. Where Vincent was all sharp edges, Julian's features held a gentleness even in unconsciousness. "His vitals are stable," Vincent explained. "The medical team visits twice daily. Your responsibility would be monitoring basic care and providing..." Presence. Presence? Some studies suggest coma patients respond to regular human interaction. Reading, conversation, meaningless probably, but worth attempting. Olivia approached the bed, her nursing instincts taking over as she examined the chart. The accident! What happened exactly? Vincent's expression revealed nothing. Lab explosion. Julian always was too hands-on with the research division. She studied the chart more carefully. Something about the injury pattern seemed inconsistent, with an explosion, but she couldn't place exactly what troubled her. You'll have complete access to his medical records, Vincent continued. Private quarters adjacent to this room. The contract requires your presence 6 days weekly, with 1 day off of your choosing. Complete confidentiality is non-negotiable. Olivia looked at Julian's still form, then at the contract in her hands promising financial salvation. Every professional instinct warned her something wasn't right, but the eviction notice flashed in her mind. I'll need to review the contract thoroughly, she said. Vincent nodded, seemingly pleased. Take today. If you accept, you'll start tomorrow. He moved toward the door, then paused. One more thing, Ms. Mendez. Julian's condition is complicated. Follow the approved care plan exactly. No unauthorized treatments or visitors. No discussions about his condition with anyone outside our approved medical team. After Vincent left, Olivia found herself alone with Julian. The room's silence broken only by the rhythmic sounds of the machines keeping him alive. What really happened to you? She whispered, studying his face. And why am I really here? She couldn't have known that somewhere in the darkness of his mind, Julian Blackwood was listening, waiting for someone exactly like her to help him find his way back. Part 2. Whispers in the dark 2 weeks into her new position, Olivia settled into a routine that balanced clinical care with something more personal. The pristine medical suite had become less intimidating, though she still felt like an intruder in the world of wealth that surrounded Julian Blackwood. The market's up today, she told him, scrolling through news on her tablet. Your company stock jumped 3% after some announcement about new neural interface technology. Olivia had begun speaking to Julian constantly, narrating her activities, reading news articles, sharing observations about the changing weather visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows. The doctors had encouraged this, claiming it might stimulate brain activity, but Olivia suspected they were just humoring Vincent's expensive whim. Your brother visited this morning while I was changing your IV, she continued, adjusting Julian's position to prevent bed sores. He barely looked at you, just checked something on his phone and left. I'm starting to think he hired me because he can't stand being in here himself. What she didn't mention was how Vincent's visits had become increasingly tense. Twice now, she'd overheard him arguing in hushed tones with a woman named Elise Warner, Julian's CFO and Vincent's apparent confidant. Their conversations always ceased when they noticed Olivia. I wonder if you can hear me, she said softly, checking Julian's vital signs. The doctors say your brain activity is increasing, but they can't explain why you're not waking up. The machines continued their steady rhythm, offering no response. That evening, while organizing Julian's personal effects that Vincent had delivered from his home, Olivia discovered a leather portfolio tucked between books. Inside were financial documents that immediately struck her as odd. Transfer authorizations, all signed with Julian's signature, moving substantial funds to offshore accounts. The dates caught her attention. Several were from after his accident. Olivia carefully photographed the documents with her phone before returning them exactly as she'd found them. Something wasn't adding up, and her instincts were screaming warnings. Later that night, unable to sleep, she returned to Julian's suite. The night nurse had left for her break, leaving Olivia alone with her unconscious charge. I don't know if I'm being paranoid, she whispered, sitting beside his bed. But someone's been moving your money since your accident, using your signature somehow. Is that why I'm really here? A witness to make everything look legitimate? Julian's monitors suddenly registered a spike in brain activity. Olivia froze. watching the readouts with professional interest, wondering if it was merely coincidence. "Can you hear me, Julian?" she asked, leaning closer. "If you can, I want you to know I'm going to figure out what's happening." The door opened abruptly, startling Olivia. Vincent stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable as always. "Miss Mendez, it's nearly midnight." Olivia straightened. "I couldn't sleep. I thought I'd check on him." Vincent's eyes narrowed slightly. Dedicated. "I appreciate that." He stepped into the room, closing the door behind him. "How would you evaluate his condition?" "Stable. There have been periodic increases in brain activity, especially during conversation." Vincent nodded, studying his brother with detached interest. "Dr. Weber mentioned that. A good sign, supposedly." "It could indicate he's processing external stimuli," Olivia offered. "Some coma patients report later that they were aware of everything happening around them." Something flickered across Vincent's face. Alarm, quickly masked. An unsettling thought. The door opened again, revealing Elise Warner. Tall, elegant, with sharp features and sharper eyes, she stopped short at the sight of Olivia. "I didn't realize Julian had company," she said, her tone making the word sound distasteful. "Ms. Mendez was just leaving," Vincent replied smoothly. "We have business matters to discuss." Olivia hesitated, reluctant to leave Julian alone with them after what she'd discovered. "Actually, I should stay. His readings have been fluctuating. Tonight." Elise stepped closer, her expensive perfume filling the space between them. "Ms. Mendez, while we appreciate your dedication, you're a caretaker, not family. Some privacy, please." Outnumbered, Olivia nodded stiffly and moved toward the door. As she reached for the handle, Elise spoke again, her voice low. "Vincent, we need to move up the timeline. The board is asking questions about Julian's absence. We—" "Stick to the plan," Vincent replied tersely. "Another month and everything transfers permanently." Olivia slipped out, her heart pounding. Outside the door, she paused, listening. "That nurse makes me nervous," Elise was saying. "She's too observant." "She's nobody," Vincent responded dismissively. "A desperate nurse with debt problems who won't risk losing this paycheck. Besides, if Julian does somehow wake up, we need a credible witness who will testify he seemed fine under our care. And if he remembers? After the trauma and medication? Anything he claims will sound like paranoid delusions." Olivia backed away from the door, mind racing. She retreated to her adjacent room, hands shaking as she reviewed the photos of the financial documents. Their conversation confirmed her suspicions. Vincent and Elise were systematically looting Julian's fortune while keeping him sedated. She needed proof, connections, a plan. But who would believe a temporary nurse over the acting CEO of Blackwood Industries? The next morning, Olivia entered Julian's suite to find Dr. Weber examining him with unusual intensity. "Is everything okay?" she asked. The doctor straightened. His EEG readings last night were remarkable, almost as if he were having a conversation. He studied her curiously. "Were you speaking with him?" "I read to him sometimes," she admitted. "Does it matter?" "It might." Dr. Weber lowered his voice. "Between us, I've been reducing his sedation gradually. Mr. Vincent Blackwood authorized a specific regimen, but it seemed excessive for his condition." Olivia felt a surge of hope, an ally. "Doctor, there's something—" The doctor's phone buzzed. He checked it, his expression changing. "I'm needed elsewhere. Continue what you've been doing. I think he's listening." After the doctor left, Olivia approached Julian's bedside. "If you can hear me," she whispered, "I need you to fight. Something's very wrong, and I think I'm the only one who sees it. But I can't help you alone." Julian's finger twitched, a tiny movement, almost imperceptible. But Olivia saw it, and her breath caught. He was waking up. Part 3. Awakening Truths. The first word Julian Blackwood spoke after 6 weeks of silence was Olivia. His eyes opened during her afternoon reading session, focusing immediately on her face with startling clarity. Dr. Weber had been gradually reducing his sedation for days, noting increasing responsiveness, but no one had expected such a sudden, complete awakening. "Julian," Olivia set aside her book, professional training taking over despite her shock. "Don't try to move too quickly. You've been unconscious for weeks." His hand reached for hers with surprising strength. "Danger," he rasped, voice rough from disuse. "Vincent, stealing everything." Olivia's heart raced. "You heard me. You've been aware this whole time." Julian nodded weakly. "Every word. The documents you found. The conversations." His eyes held hers, intense despite his weakened state. "Not an accident. Sabotage." Before she could respond, the door opened. Dr. Weber entered, stopping short at the sight of Julian conscious and speaking. "Mr. Blackwood, this is remarkable progress." He hurried forward, checking vitals and pupil response with clinical efficiency, though Olivia noticed he positioned himself to block the security camera's view of Julian's face. "Doctor," Julian said softly, "who authorized my medication protocol?" Dr. Weber hesitated. "Your brother, as your medical proxy. The dosages were unusual. I've been adjusting them." "Thank you," Julian murmured. "That likely saved my life." His gaze returned to Olivia. "Both of you have." Dr. Weber completed his examination, then leaned closer. "Mr. Blackwood, I should notify your brother of your improvement." "Not yet." Julian's voice strengthened with urgency. "I need time. 24 hours. The doctor straightened, conflicted. "As your physician, I'm obligated—" "As my physician," Julian interrupted. "Your obligation is to my well-being. Vincent presents a direct threat to that." He managed a ghost of a smile. "Besides, medical conditions fluctuate. Perhaps I'll lapse back into unconsciousness within the hour." Dr. Weber's expression shifted to understanding. "I'll note continued coma state with periodic responsiveness, technically accurate, giving us time to monitor your condition more thoroughly before alerting family." After the doctor left, Olivia moved closer. "You need to rest. Your body's been inactive for weeks." Julian shook his head slightly. "No time. Tell me everything you found." Over the next hour, Olivia detailed her discoveries. The financial documents, the overheard conversations, Vincent and Elise's apparent timeline. Julian listened intently, occasionally closing his eyes from fatigue, but always urging her to continue. "The neural interface announcement," he said when she finished. "That's my technology. Years of research Vincent claimed was unprofitable." Julian's expression hardened. "They're stripping everything valuable before pulling the plug, literally and figuratively." Olivia turned slowly, Julian's phone clutched in her hand, to face Vincent and Elise standing in the doorway. Vincent's expression remained calm, but his eyes had turned to ice. "You've disappointed me," he said, stepping into the apartment. "I offered you financial security, career advancement, every advantage, and this is how you repay my generosity." "By discovering you tried to murder your brother?" Olivia countered, her fear giving way to anger. "That you've been stealing his company while keeping him drugged into silence?" Elise closed the door behind them. Such dramatic accusations. A nurse with a history of financial troubles breaking into her wealthy patient's home to steal valuables. "How do you think that will play in court?" Vincent gestured to the phone in Olivia's hand. "Evidence of your theft, caught on the apartment's security system. Unfortunate, but not surprising given your circumstances." Olivia's mind raced. Julian had warned her this might happen, had prepared her with a contingency plan that seemed impossible now, trapped between his would-be murderers. "Julian is awake," she said, watching their reactions closely. "He remembers everything." A flicker of alarm crossed Vincent's face before his composure returned. "Another desperate lie. My brother remains in a persistent vegetative state, as documented by his medical team. Dr. Weber's latest evaluation indicates otherwise. Olivia bluffed. It's already in Julian's official medical record. Elise's perfectly maintained calm cracked. Vincent, we need to move now. If Julian is communicating, he's not, Vincent snapped. She's lying. He turned back to Olivia. Where is Dr. Weber now? I'd like to discuss his unauthorized changes to my brother's care plan. Something in his tone sent a chill through Olivia. I don't know. His shift ended hours ago. Vincent stepped closer. Give me the phone, Olivia. Then we can discuss a mutually beneficial resolution. Perhaps a position overseas with Blackwood's charitable foundation, generous compensation for your silence? Olivia clutched the phone tighter. You tried to kill him once. I won't help you finish the job. Vincent sighed, his patience visibly thinning. Elise, call security. Have Ms. Mendez escorted from the building and detained for theft. As Elise reached for her phone, Olivia made her decision. She lunged toward the kitchen area, putting the island counter between them, and pressed the emergency button on Julian's phone, the one he'd instructed her to use if discovered. What did you just do? Vincent demanded, circling toward her. Sent your security footage to people who will ask difficult questions, Olivia lied, backing toward the service exit Julian had described. The police, the board of directors, the medical licensing board. Vincent's controlled facade finally shattered. You stupid girl. Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? I built Blackwood Industries as much as Julian did. Everything he has should be half mine, Vincent, Elise warned. Not here. But Vincent was beyond caution now. My brother, the genius, the visionary, always taking credit while I managed the tedious details that actually kept the company running. He wanted to waste billions on medical technology for developing countries while I saw the real potential. Military applications, private security systems. The profits we could have made, Olivia continued, edging toward the service door. So you tried to kill him for disagreeing with your business plan? I tried to save the company from his naive idealism, Vincent shouted. The explosion was supposed to be contained. Quick. When he survived, he composed himself with visible effort. It became necessary to adjust our approach. Vincent, enough! Elise hissed. Security will be here any minute. Olivia reached the service door and yanked it open, only to find two security guards waiting. One grabbed her arm while the other took Julian's phone. Take her downstairs, Vincent ordered. Use my private car. We'll continue this discussion somewhere more discreet. 20 minutes later, Olivia found herself in an abandoned Blackwood storage facility on the outskirts of the city, secured to a chair while Vincent paced before her. Your position has become untenable, Ms. Mendez, he said, his composure fully restored. However, I'm not unreasonable. Tell me exactly what Julian said when he woke up, what evidence you think you have, and who else knows about your suspicions. Do that and you'll walk away with enough money to solve all your problems. And if I refuse? Vincent smiled thinly. Then we continue the narrative of the desperate nurse who stole from her wealthy patient, fled, and unfortunately met with an accident before she could be apprehended. Olivia's mouth went dry. You're going to kill me either way. That depends entirely on how useful you prove to be. A commotion outside the room interrupted them. Shouting, then gunshots. Vincent froze, turning toward the door just as it burst open. Marcus Donovan stood in the doorway, weapon raised, flanked by several security personnel wearing Blackwood IDs different from those who had brought Olivia here. Vincent Blackwood, Marcus announced formally, you're being detained under Section 7 of the Blackwood Industries Corporate Charter for suspected criminal actions against the company's founder and CEO. Behind him appeared Julian, pale and unsteady but upright, supported by Dr. Weber. Hello, brother, Julian said quietly. You've been busy in my absence. Vincent's face contorted with rage. This is absurd. You have no authority? Actually, he does. Marcus interrupted. Mr. Julian Blackwood implemented Protocol Lazarus the moment Ms. Mendez activated his emergency signal. It temporarily suspends all executive authority except his own pending investigation of suspected corporate malfeasance. Julian moved slowly into the room, his gaze finding Olivia. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, relief making her voice unsteady. "How did you find me?" "The phone you activated has a tracker," Julian explained as Marcus untied her, "and Vincent has always been predictable in his choice of secure locations." Elise, who had remained silent throughout the confrontation, suddenly made a break for the door. One of Marcus's security team intercepted her smoothly. "The financial documents," Julian continued, watching his brother. "The unauthorized technology announcement, the tampering with my medication, it's all documented now. The board has been notified, as have the appropriate authorities." Vincent's calculated demeanor finally collapsed completely. "You self-righteous hypocrite," he spat. "You would have destroyed everything we built with your humanitarian fantasies. Someone had to protect the company." "By committing murder?" Julian asked softly. "Was it worth it, Vincent?" As Marcus's team led Vincent and Elise away, Julian swayed slightly. Dr. Weber moved to support him, but Julian reached for Olivia instead. She stood, rubbing her wrists where the restraints had bitten into them, and stepped to his side. "You shouldn't be out of bed," she chided gently. Julian's tired smile contained genuine warmth. "Some things are worth the risk." Part 5. Fortunes. Redemption 6 months later, Olivia stood at the podium of the newly dedicated Blackwood Medical Innovation Center, addressing its first class of international fellowship recipients. Behind her sat Julian, watching with undisguised pride as she outlined the center's mission to develop affordable medical technology for underserved communities worldwide. "Each of you represents the future Dr. Julian Blackwood envisioned," she concluded. "Not technology for profit alone, but innovation in service of humanity. Welcome to the beginning of your journey with us." The applause carried her from the stage to Julian's side. He'd recovered remarkably in the months since his awakening, though occasional headaches and fatigue remained as reminders of his near-death experience. "Director Mendez," he said with a smile, using her new title as they moved toward the reception. "That was inspiring." Olivia laughed softly. "The speech was mostly written by your PR team." "The conviction behind it was all yours." Julian's hand found hers briefly, a gesture that had become familiar between them. "They believe in you. So do I." The transformation of both their lives still sometimes felt unreal to Olivia. Vincent and Elise faced multiple charges including attempted murder, corporate fraud, and embezzlement. Their trial had revealed the full extent of their scheme, not just to eliminate Julian, but to redirect Blackwood's technological innovations toward military contracts worth billions. Julian had stunned everyone by offering Olivia not just a generous compensation package for saving his life, but a position directing the new center that would fulfill his original vision. Her medical background, combined with what he called her moral compass, made her uniquely qualified. "Mr. Blackwood," Marcus approached them, now Julian's official head of corporate security and trusted right hand. "The board members have arrived." "For the dinner?" Julian nodded. "We'll be right there." As Marcus departed, Olivia straightened Julian's tie, a habit she'd developed during his recovery that had somehow persisted into their professional relationship. "You don't have to attend if you're tired," she said, studying his face for signs of fatigue. "The board would understand." "I'm fine," he assured her. "Besides, they're as interested in meeting the new director as they are in speaking with me." They walked together through the gleaming research center that occupied the building, where Julian had nearly died. He had insisted on reclaiming the space, transforming the site of violence into a place of healing.